Dan Mulqueen, welcome to Handpan Voices. How was your weekend, sir?
Thanks for having me here, man. The weekend was good. I did.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm based in New Jersey, so it's like New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia area. So I did a show on Staten Island, so it's like part of New York.
yep.
Uh, yeah, man, did a show, worked on some music.
Went to Soho
Nothing
Handpans. Is
crazy.
that what they're called? Soho Handpans?
Yeah, they have. I think they have like a bunch of those like
Yeah.
schools, and there's just one like the New York one.
Uh huh.
So it's on Staten Island. So yeah, I did
Oh,
like
right.
a 90-minute workshop, 1 hour concert. So it's nice.
Yeah.
Very nice weekend. How was yours?
Oh, I had the perfect handpan weekend. I mean, I spent the whole weekend immersed in all different types of handpan stuff. So, went to see Handpan Gentleman and Daniel Waples perform, and then in the evening went to see Manu Delago, and then hung out with Rosie and Amy. Now you have been a busy boy this year so far, right? Your feet haven't touched the ground. You've been obviously performing a lot, but you've been recording, right? You've got your head down, and your first album since 2020 is in the
Yeah,
is coming up, right? What? Tell me about
yeah,
that.
man. It's so right now. I this is yeah, for me this is not the last couple of years in terms of releasing stuff. It's not been my most proud moment, just
Right.
because it's only been a handful of singles and like I like to put out a lot of stuff. Um, so yeah, this like album cycle, this new music cycle will be pretty. There's a lot going on right now, so it's basically like three projects, four albums, kind of all working at the same time. So there's
Wow.
like the main one that I've been like handpan compositions and really working on the last like, couple of years. That's like the main focus. Like that's the one that I've been spending most of my time with.
Okay.
So there'll be like that one with like all the electronic elements and compositions and all that stuff, and then it'll be like those same compositions because I think all but two of the songs started handpan first. So like the handpan composition without all the other production is like I'm quite proud of. So I'm gonna do like one like I did this album in 2018 called Handwriting, and it was
Yeah.
like one album was like full production, and then the second album was just like the stripped down
Okay.
composition, just handpan solo.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna do a double album again for this one. Whether they come out at
See.
the same time or not, we'll see. And then I'm doing this. I guess it's like kind of like an improvised thing. It's like for basically for like the yoga and meditation people that
Yeah.
I talk about it in my live show. Hopefully this comes off elegantly, but you hear some. Oh, I listen to your music when I meditate, or like I put it on in my yoga class or whatever.
Yeah.
And like for me, I'd like to use a lot of like drums and 808s and kind of like sounds
Yeah.
that maybe aren't so like relaxing.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, I'm kind of like, man, like, I don't know what kind of meditation you're doing, like to that stuff, but I'm happy, but I think I can make you something pretty cool. So last summer and then this summer at the IASA studios, I did like a bunch of like improvised things with that kind of in mind, like to make it for like sleep, meditation, like really relaxed. So yeah, working on that one, and then the last thing is like this handpan and lo-fi album. So just kind of beats and not throwaway, but like not fully formed like song ideas. It could be just like uh,
Yeah.
a nice idea, a nice movement, or whatever, and then you put some beats to it and make it 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
Again, kind of like sleep study focus kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Proper lo-fi then. Yeah, I like the sound of
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah. So, but the main one is still it's the album that's been coming since 2022. I think I started I put out. I think the first single was called. I can't remember if it was 2021 or 2022. It's called "Sleight of Hand." So it's been on Spotify for a couple of years, and man, I'm looking at the track list. And I'm like, oh, dude, I've been playing these songs for a lot. Like,
I bet.
I don't know why this album is taking so long. Like, before this, I did 2 years. The first four albums were every 2 years, and then this one, for whatever reason, it's just. I think I'm just dragging my heels a bit. So
You just like making us all wait, Dan. I know. I know what this is.
I
We
wish
don't
it was
mind.
that. I wish it was that. But there's been so many times, man. There's like two songs in particular that I've
Oh
been
yeah.
like fully done with, and then you give it like I like to, you know, I don't know if you have any questions about like recording process, but mine, you kind of like finish in quotes. It's like done, and then you give it like a week or two, and then listen again.
Right.
And twice on these two songs, maybe three times, like I just kind of scrapped and started over. I was just like, this just isn't good, like it's not what I want, like I thought it was, and then it wasn't. So I think maybe being a little too picky, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Do
The
you,
ones that are done, I'm pretty happy with. So
do you have
uh,
like a small bunch of handpan friends that you sort of ask their opinions, or is it just your own opinion that you kind of listen to? Because surely you'll never be happy with your own work, right? It's really hard to be happy with your own stuff.
yeah, I think it's so to that, like I'm happy with it, but like I think I could do better. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, ah, man, like even this idea from 6 months ago, like the production styles that I do, or like the things that I've changed, like I prefer this version from even 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's like, ah, damn, dude, now I gotta update it or whatever. So yeah, man, but I do have a couple of people that I bounce some songs off of. I send a lot of things to Marloy, to Maya, Lasley, Charrier. I've sent a lot of stuff to.
Right.
Um, yeah, man. And then some of my buddies, here like the builders, like do you know Josh Rivera?
I don't
Veritas.
know him, but I've obviously heard of him. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So
Yeah.
he's like, he's one of my good friends, and he's also like a really good like mastering engineer. Like he does like, yeah. So like even just the other day, I sent him like when I
Yeah.
send stuff to him, it's like the most nerve wracking because it's
Okay.
like, do the instruments sound good? He's also a good musician, so like, is the composition good? And
Yeah.
he's a mastering engineer, so I'm like, does it sound good? So for when you send it to him, it's kind of like the trifecta of
Yeah.
like, all
Yeah.
right, fingers crossed. But yeah, man. So you have some friends that I bounced some
Good.
stuff off of, and I've
That's
sent some
good.
stuff to Amy before, one of your previous guests.
Yeah.
Um,
Our
but yeah,
Amy.
man. Yeah.
Do you do your own mastering as well then, or do you get somebody to do that last little
Yeah, so up until
finish?
now, I've done everything myself. And like the last like a year and a half, I've been really focused on like mixing and mastering,
Oh wow.
which I
That's why
think
it's
is,
taking longer. That's why
I
it's
think
taking
so,
longer, right?
man. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's also
Yeah.
like it's kind of like that box that when you open it, you're like, I thought I knew, and then you learn like one or two more techniques, and you're like, oh, I don't know anything. Like
Yeah. I bet.
So yeah,
Yeah.
like I put out a single in, was it January, called Royal Oak, and that's like one of the few that I didn't redo, like where I think the master came out like how I wanted it to sound, and
Yeah.
I didn't need to go back and all this stuff, and then little things, man, like the the drum tones in like mixing, and then you apply these like it gets so you're just juggling, like you're juggling in that sense. So um yeah, it's just been taking forever, but I'm, the songs that are done, I'm quite happy with, but
Yeah.
it's just going a little slow.
Well, good luck coming to the
Thank you,
end.
man.
Have you given yourself a deadline yet, or are you just keeping that open?
I have deadlines for like individual songs.
Right. Okay.
Like if
But not
like
the
there's
album
one,
release. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's one that I have been working on for just like 2 weeks. It was like a pretty quick one,
Yeah.
and it was kind of like on the album, it's supposed to be like stripped down, like it's supposed to not be so like a million things going on. And already it's like when you look at something, you're like, oh, I could add this or add that or add this or add that. And you're like, no, dude, like stop. Like it was supposed to be the simple one.
Oh, right.
So things like that, I think deadlines, they help for sure. But I think for me, it's just, and doing everything yourself, it would be hard to have like a hard deadline at this
Yeah.
stage when the artwork is done. Like the artwork
Oh,
is,
yeah.
yeah, the
Ooh.
artwork is, it's already tattooed on me. Uh, it's
Isn't it? You actually
yeah,
physically have the tattoo.
yeah,
Oh, wow. So
yeah. The
that does
last
that mean you have the name as well then, or
yeah, the name, yeah, the name is done. It's tattooed. I have the last 3 albums are all this one
that's
included
cool.
will be tattooed on me. So it's like it's literally on my body. Like we have to put this out now.
That's a
But
good idea. I like
yeah,
that.
man, it's a little. If that's not a, can't change it now. Like I'm pretty
Yeah.
committed.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, man. So like to put a deadline for everything, like where like the art is done, but like the layout and all like the visual stuff is not done yet, and like the songs are written but not totally finished yet. So
Uh-huh.
I think if you set a deadline, like a master deadline, too early, you're just going to kind of rush through a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So for
Yeah.
me, I think now there's 8 that are completely done, mixed, mastered, ready to rock. There are 3 that are in production right now, like between like just adding the last things and then mixing, and then
Yeah.
there are 3 that just still have to be recorded. So
Ooh.
I like recorded. I got record here just in like my place, and um
Let's talk about
yeah.
your recording. How you record. I know there's a
Sure.
big process, but you've said before you have to record late at night because where you live is quite busy and sort of
Yeah.
less west noise and stuff. Is that the same as you do now?
So
Are you still in the same studio, or have
no,
you changed that?
yeah, I've changed that one. Yeah, I've changed that one. Like I live in a different place now, and
Okay.
I've built. I don't know how wide is my camera here. Like, can you see this wooded thing to the side or no?
No, I can't.
Okay,
No.
so there's maybe this will be a little. My place isn't so clean right now, but this is like it's just kind of like a box, and
Yeah.
um, there's a bunch of like acoustic treatment in there. It's like
Oh, nice.
um, how's that centered? Yeah, cool. So that's where I record a lot, and it actually sounds quite nice, which is like kind of a surprise.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like to keep a lot of my recording pretty dry. Like I don't like to have like a big, open cathedral
Uh-huh.
room for anything. So in a setting like this, it's kind of nice. So yeah, I still prefer to record a little late because here, like I live in an apartment building, so even
Okay.
if somebody is showering, flushes the toilet,
Oh,
there's
right.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
yelling in the hallway. It's kind of like, there's been a few takes where it's like, oh, that was great. And then you hear like, the water running. You're like, God damn. So it's
Yeah.
just a little
Imagine.
easier. Like, to be honest, like you find your little like nooks of time. So
Yeah.
now, like, like right now for me, it's like 1 something in the afternoon. So like most people who like work not from home are at work. So like middle of the
Ah,
afternoon is actually like a
perfect.
sweet spot,
Yeah.
like between 11 and 1 a.m.
Yeah.
sweet spot, like, it's not so bad. But so yeah, no overnights. Like I think the one that I was talking about before that you've heard, it was I lived in this other complex, and I literally recorded from I think it was like midnight or 1 a.m. until like 6 or 7 in the morning, like
Wow.
full nocturnal style, which was like terrible for your health. But so yeah, this one's not so bad. This one, you know, pretty regular office hours.
So, for people who don't know your style, Dan, and there's probably not many handpan players that don't know your style, you're very, very percussive, but also beautifully melodic as well. You've got that lovely sort of blend with the style that you have of music that you create and produce. So, where does it start? Does it start from the percussion, or does it start from the melody? What's your sort of process of starting new material?
Yeah, well, thanks for saying that. I appreciate you listening. But yeah, for it, it kind of changes, and I think the thing that I've found to be like really helpful is not saying like one or the other. To having like some songs, like you know, if I'm working on something that's you know like a drum and bass thing, like that's really percussive in like the technical that way. It's more of like, okay, that's the focus. How do we add like nice sounding things? Whereas like if you find a collection of chords or like a couple of shapes that sound great, um, it's like how do I make this bounce a bit? Like give this a bit of a backbone, a bit of a groove. Um, so there's like a couple of like composition styles that I like very much, but I think it's kind of evident, like when you hear like a slower song that's like pretty melodic, it probably didn't start with the percussive elements that are in it. And the same thing if you hear like a really like intense part with like a lot of big hits and setups, it probably didn't start with like the melody notes. So I think having a mix of both, especially for like albums or EP styles, it's nice to have certain things that are started one way, started the other, or you know just to have a blend. You don't
Yeah,
want to
for
be too
sure.
repetitive. You don't want to be boring.
Well, we look forward to hearing the new album. It sounds great.
Thanks,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I
Uh,
have. I think the next single will be hopefully in October. I'm working on the video
okay.
now
Oh yeah.
for it.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna do like a bit of like a tour montage of like all the clips from around, and yeah, it's just a lot of. I do all the video production and audio production for myself, so it's just another
Yeah.
another thing, that it just goes a little slow.
Let's talk about your touring because you are an extensive tourer, don't you? You've toured across America, Europe. I think you've been to Australia. Have you this
Yeah,
year?
yeah, yeah. No,
Which
that was
festivals have stood out? Tell me some of the places you've been and why certain ones have stood out for you.
Yeah. The Australia one was a little longer ago. I wasn't there this last year. It was
Oh,
in. I
okay.
think I was there in 2019. I think
Oh, sorry.
2019.
Right. Okay.
No, you're good. We're talking about doing it again next year, though, which is pretty cool. So
Okay.
we'll see. Hopefully, it works out. But yeah, man, it's I feel super lucky. I mean, these festivals are really really cool, and for a number of reasons. It's the location, the other people that you're playing with, like the organizers, the audience. Like, I think it's a really cool thing. Like, because the handpan festivals aren't enormous. It's not like there's tens of thousands of people. Like everyone there at one point or another, you cross paths with, like whether it's in like the food line or you
Yeah.
know at the concerts or whatever. So yeah, it's a cool experience, man, and I encourage anyone, if there's one close to you, just pick one and go. It's kind of nice to be around fellow handpan dorks, like to just be
Yeah.
hanging out and whatever. But
Yeah.
but yeah, man, yeah, all across the states, the European festivals are awesome. I did Japan, which was like life changing. Japan was
Yeah.
awesome.
We're going to talk about Japan.
Australia, yeah,
Yeah.
man. So, but would you say did any stick out?
Yeah. This summer, if you could name one that you think, oh yeah, that was my favorite this year.
Yeah, favorite. It's a hard one to pick any favorites,
Yeah.
because each of them is like, and that's the great thing too, is like they're all like handpan festivals, so it's all like the same, right? It's like no,
Okay.
they're all like a little different. So like for instance, Hona was in Greece.
Yeah.
The location on that is like I remember looking and being like, this doesn't look like a real place. Like
Yeah.
this is like a a screensaver.
Is it hard to get to, Dan? Is it quite hard to get to? Is it
I
quite
wouldn't
out
say
the way?
hard. I wouldn't say hard to get to, but kind of it's a trip. Like
Yeah.
from the States anyway. It was like a 9 or 10 hour flight to Athens, and
Yeah.
then I did the ferry
Yeah.
with Maya, and I think it was like 7 hours on the ferry each way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think there's a flight that takes about 30 minutes, which I didn't know until it was too late.
Oh no.
But yeah, so it's just kind of it's a far ride, but it's worth it. So like that one was very like summer vacation, like just a really fun time. The people were awesome. The concerts were like super fun. Pan Paradise. I don't know, did you hear about this one in Germany?
Yeah. Of
Yeah.
course.
So
Yeah.
that's like there was what 14 or 12 of us teachers there,
Yeah.
and it's like every day for 2 hours you're teaching. Two 2-hour sessions every day.
Yeah.
You're not teaching the whole time, but you're teaching a lot. So just to get there and like be able to like chop it up with the fellow players and like jam and make music, and like I always leave ones like that feeling like super inspired.
Okay.
And then yeah, there's one in the States. It wasn't this summer. But it's actually happening next week from when we're recording this. It's
Heartland.
Heartland Hangout.
Yeah.
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 So that's man, that was a really cool one. It was in like this old castle, and
Oh wow.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was just cool, man. It was run by, you had Sarah on your show. Sarah
Yeah.
like is part of the organization team. So
Yeah.
just a really fun time, man. Just like a really good one. Yeah. So here there's not many festivals in the States, but between Heartland and Pantasia, which is in California, that one's kind of just like it's in Joshua Tree, so it's like
Yeah.
it's not close to like any cities. It's like pretty, it's kind of desert, but
Yeah.
but yeah. So like those two in the States kind of stand out for me. And there's one in Florida, Pan Marco. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I've
Yeah,
been invited
man.
to that one. I've been invited
Oh,
to
you
that
should
one.
go,
I'd
man.
like to
Wait,
go.
which to Pan
Was it
Marco or
John?
to Heartland?
Was it is it John?
Yeah,
John runs
yeah,
one of
yeah.
them.
John
Yeah,
Guinta.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He's asked me to go to invited me over because he seems
yeah.
like a very nice chap. So yeah, I'd
Oh,
love to go.
he's one of those guys,
Yeah.
man, that when he asks you like, "Hey, can you do this?" Like, no questions, I'll just say yes.
Oh,
Like,
cool. Yeah,
but yeah, I think they're taking this year off, but
yeah.
next year if you get invited, man, you should come. It's
Oh, I'd
super
love
fun.
to.
Yeah,
Let's talk about the land of the rising sun because of all these places you're talking about. That's quite a special place, right? Japan has this
yeah,
rich culture of music and people, and there must be. I feel like it's very, I don't know, very different, very, I don't know, something special about the country. My son, who's 18, is desperate to go. He really wants to appreciate the culture. So tell me about what draws you there, and why have you been making this trip to Japan? Tell me about the backstory and why you like going.
yeah. I've only been the one time so far. Like, I'm due to go back in mid October.
All right, okay.
Yeah, but it's yeah, and it was kind of funny, man. I went, and like everyone that I talked to that went there, like every single person that I talked to was like, dude, it's life changing. It's life changing. And in my head, I'm like, come on, like is it really like all of you guys are saying? Is that just like a thing that you say when you go and like it
Yeah.
just becomes whatever? And I remember being on the flight home and being like, damn, that was life changing. Like, oh, like, me too. Damn, like like I'm a part of your team. But so yeah, man, it was just I've wanted to go since I was a kid. Like, I just think it couldn't be more different
Yeah,
than the States. Like that's how it seemed, and that's how it felt when I was there, and in like the best way. It was just cool to experience something so different. But you asked like the reason I went, and do you know Reo Matsumoto?
I've heard of him, and I've seen him online, but I don't know
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of these guys too. He's just, that's my brother from another mother, man. He's become a really good friend over the years, and so he runs. He's moved since to Amsterdam, but he used to run a lot of the events in Tokyo, and they did this big like the Tokyo Handpan Festival in 2023.
Right.
Was my, he invited me to play there, like the full electronic set that I was touring with, and so that was my like invitation to go. So I went for that, and then stayed for like 2.5 weeks, I think, and just saw all the, I shouldn't say all. I think it would be impossible to see everything there in a week, but so yeah, I did Tokyo and Kyoto, and where the festival was like,
Yeah.
I think it was like 2 hours outside of Tokyo, kind of in more of like more of a rural area, so like not
Yeah.
big city vibes. So so yeah, man, the food was great. The people were like just amazing. Like I had people in the street coming up and like touching my beard and stuff. It was hysterical. But
Is he the dude that does the beatboxing over the handpan
yes.
playing?
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Yep.
So he's been on a lot of videos on socials this year doing that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Was it Hona
Yeah,
as well?
we did Hona together. Probably saw there's a video of us playing together.
Yeah.
We have a song actually I wrote when I was there.
So you're going this year again. Is there any sort of specific collaborations or encounters that you're really looking forward to, or are you just going to see what happens when you get there?
Yeah, so they're doing it's a smaller version of like the Tokyo Handpan Fest. It's like a Handpan Day or something. I forget what they're calling it. I think it's the Tokyo Handpan Day. So it's me and Reo and then Maya Lasley.
Yep.
I don't know if you know her, but like Maya and I have a song together that we put out 2 years ago. It's called Zorza. And so yeah, I'm looking forward, spend time with Reo, me and her. Did the Hona Festival together, and it was just like a party.
So I've got a question from somebody else. One of the people who listens to the podcast, Dan, is also a fan of yours called Alexandra. You met her at Pan Paradise. You signed her poster. And she sent me the picture of you did a little picture underneath. You had like an unhappy face.
Yeah.
A handpan equals smiley face.
Yeah, that's my merch. So I always sign that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, it's the one piece of merch that I don't feel bad for wearing because it doesn't have my name anywhere on it. Like if you, I feel like if you wear a shirt with your own name on it, it's a little weird. But this is like the
Ah, yeah,
one. Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So
I need one of those. I
yeah,
need one
man,
of those,
they're
Sam. I
sold
need to
out at
buy
the
one.
moment. But
Right. I
yeah,
need
you
to
can
buy
get
one.
them. So real quick about this before we get to the question, if you have
Yeah.
like that color green, like that
Yeah.
specific green, you can only get those from me, like in person. But you
Ooh.
can get if you go to like I sell them online, you can like pick a bunch of colors, but you can't pick that specific green. So if you see
Right.
anybody with like that hunter green color,
Yeah.
came from came
Ooh.
from me. So
A personal handover. Wow.
that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's you have to get it in person. But sorry, what was the question?
So Alexandra's question was, how do audiences in different countries react to the handpan? Do you notice any cultural differences in the way people connect with your music?
It would be hard to say like culturally if there's any differences because when I tour, it's kind of all around the handpan world. So everybody has like, there's, you know, we're all there. We all know the instrument, kind of like the people in the community. So it's a bit different than just kind of going into somewhere where no one knows who you or the instrument are.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would be the best one to ask about that, but
Yeah.
yeah, there are certainly, um, you know, I guess it's a little different in every place, but it's different in the best ways. It's like it's kind of cool to experience it.
Yeah. Normally people ask players about their origin story.
Hmm.
I don't really feel like I don't have to do that with every single person I interview. So there's only one element of your origin story that I want to hear more about. And I've heard you talk about your first ever handpan, which was a symbol with stickers on it. So because you couldn't get hold of a handpan. Tell me a bit about that. That's your origin story, isn't it? About your first ever one. And why did you do that? And let me know a bit more about that.
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't. I certainly wasn't playing that out anywhere. you know, it was just kind of for me in my
No.
parents' basement. But
Yeah.
but yeah, man, I kept seeing the videos, and I was like, damn, this like these people. Like I remember specifically watching like David Swaroop play, and he plays a lot like with his thumbs. And like I come from like a drum set background where everything is this way and with the wrists and all here. So I was like, man, that's so strange. Like to use like he's using his arm this way. Is it like here? Is it like this? Like, what is it? So, yeah, I just had this old symbol that I wasn't using, and I put I think it was like painter's tape or duct tape or something, just like 8 little squares around it. And I was like, I wonder how you would go from here to there. Like, if I tried to go like, would it be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or would it be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Like, obviously, it didn't make any sound, but it was kind of like I think just naturally I have kind of like a analytical brain. So I was like, how
Okay.
does this work? How do you get up a circle like alternating hands? Like, this is so strange. Um, so yeah, that was
How
just a
long
move.
did you do that for? How long did you do that before you got your first pan? It's
Well,
interesting.
yeah, I think, and it was a part of me that was like a little. I just, like where you're just like fidgety, like you're like, I got something coming. I just need to like do something.
Okay.
So I think at that point I had already been talking to Marco De La Rada. Do you know this guy? He was like one of the first to build instruments in his like,
Italian? Yeah.
yeah, Italian dude. And I remember I was messaging with him through YouTube like at the time because he was posting like homemade or backyard made handpan, and from then I was like, yo, like hook me up, like can I
Yeah.
buy one or whatever. And so yeah, he sold me my first one, and like I got a big spot in my heart thanks to that dude, man, because like that's like the instrument like at the time was very nitrided and very dry, but it looked like it had the dents, it actually made the sounds. So when I had
Nice.
this cymbal, I was like, yo, I have one coming, but like I need to be able to play this thing. And whether it helped or not, I have no idea, but it was just kind of like, oh, this is how it works. Like I could,
Right.
instead of doing this like clumsy, like, oh, it's with the fingers. Like I can hit there, at first, like you're kind of like typing and you're like, no, it's actually in the wrist, or it's like, in the forearms. It's not in your shoulder. That's this way, So I think I kind of started on the
Wow.
cymbal, and then,
Yeah.
just for a couple of weeks until the instrument came. But yeah, then yeah, that's the first one. The first like actual one, like not cymbal with tape, was the Marco De La Rada instrument. Um, which unfortunately I sold, man. I wish I kept that thing, you know.
That's my next question. Is it on the shelf still behind you?
I
Yeah, it's
wish,
just
man.
not.
I no, and I reached out like I think 3 or 4 years ago to the person that I sold it to. Like it
Yeah.
was just when I think I met through. It was like oh god, maybe 2 hours of a drive, 3 hours of a drive from me. And I wrote
Yeah.
them an email of like, hey, you know, if you remember me, I sold you this instrument however many years ago, and like, oh, you know, we left it here, or like this person has it, that person, and I was like, like, so it like was passed,
Oh,
you know, to
right. So you don't know
someone.
who's got it now? Okay.
No, I don't. I don't. So I would love to have it back, man, but it's that
So
one.
what does it look like? Maybe we can track it down, Dan, through the power of the podcast. What does
It
it
was
look
like a
like? Is it
it was
black?
a non handpan person. It was like
Okay.
it was just like I think that they were into like herbal medicines and you know that
Yeah.
kind of like that the like handpan adjacent community, you know.
Yeah.
But,
Little do they know that what a piece of history that is now, sitting on their shelf gathering dust somewhere.
yeah,
Never
but
mind.
yeah, that one I was super bummed, man. You know we were talking like rite of passages earlier. With that first one, there was like an eBay seller who at the
Yeah.
time was selling like a first generation pan art hung, and I was like, they were selling it for like $800, and I think I bought the Marco Delarado one for like $600. So I was like, yo, if I sell this for 600,
Okay.
I'll just have to make 200 more,
Yeah.
and so I, you know, I went like I sold the Marco instrument and I had the money. I think I sold it for like $640 or something. And I was like, I made out. Like I made such a profit. You know, I paid 600. Like I was super broke at the time. So it's like you paid 600, played the thing, and then got 620 or 640. Like,
Right.
it's a pretty good investment. But then so I had this cash and I was trying to send a wire to this like eBay seller. And I went into like my bank and I said like I need a cashier's like I need to wire this whatever, and this bank teller was like, listen, if there are 10 signs of a scam, this has like 11 of them. Like
Oh
this
no.
couldn't be more of a scam. But in
Right.
my head I was like, nah, dude, it's for I'm getting a first gen hung. Like, I've wanted this forever. Like I've
Yeah.
wanted this for 4 years. And so I was like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Like sure enough, I was like, I tried to send it, the money like something didn't go through, and then the seller like vanished, and then
Right.
it was like reported like an eBay scam like a couple of days later, and I was like, well, thank God for this bank teller. So then
Yeah.
I ended up buying a second one from Marco that came because at
Okay.
the time there was still like you know next to nobody building, so I had two from him before getting like the SPB that I made my first album on. But yeah, shout
Who
out to
taught?
Marco.
Yeah. Shout out to Marco for sure. Who taught Dan Mulqueen how to play the handpan?
I did a lot like self. I think, and that's I think everybody from like that time, you know, it's kind of all self taught. But you know, I remember watching like the Manu Delago videos in particular,
Yeah.
and being like really inspired by him. And you know, so at that point, you know, there was no teachers or tutorials or anything. And you know, if you, I mean, if you met somebody who had an instrument, it was like, whoa, like how do you have this? This is amazing. So it wasn't like you could just go and you know to like Guitar Center and buy something. So yeah, a lot of it for me was just kind of messing around and seeing what sounded good, and you know developing like you know it's kind of funny now like when I teach people like you know like the first touch kind of workshops, like people who are just starting, and it's all you know when can we start to make the grooves and make this, and in my head I'm like, man, like I spent like years just understanding, maybe not years, but a lot of months, you know, understanding just how to make this thing sound good. Um, so yeah, man, I would say self-taught, but inspired by Manu was a big inspiration for me in the beginning. And then really like the two for me in the beginning were Manu Delago and David Swarup. Swarup had a way of like controlling like the overtones and harmonics of the instrument in such a way where it was like, wow, like if you hit it, it's not just, it didn't seem anywhere like it was just quiet and then hard, like, or, you know, hard and then quiet. Like he had this real way of like hearing how the instrument was like starting to like
Right.
spit
Yeah.
sound out. And then he kind of like controlled that. And I was like, wow, it's like, it's not just, you know, clumsy hands playing like how I was doing. Like there's a way to control how this thing sounds. And then obviously Manu for everything technical was a big inspiration.
trying to generate your own style right from the start, do you think?
Yeah, I would say so. And I think from the very early days, that was something that was like really uh it was really kind of captivating about the instrument. It was like, wow, there's like no one doing like the things that I'm like, oh, I can, like, maybe if I do this thing, and then you go to try to find that, and you're like, well, no one's done that before. Like, I'm sure it was the
Yeah,
same for a ton of other people, but it was like from even like early days of like even just how you approach writing the music, it's like, wow, this is like something that's unique to me. So it's like, in how many, like, if you pick up a paintbrush or a guitar or even a drum set, it's like
yeah,
most of the things that you would come up with organically have been done in one way or another already, like, um maybe not with painting. I mean, there's a million ways, but like when you strum a guitar or like when you put chords together, like there was a
yeah,
first or a second or a third person to do that. So, and then the handpan world, it was like so early that you're like, wow, like I can really kind of do my own thing here and not, just be like a copy of something or someone else. So yeah, man, I think in the beginning, whether it was like intentional or not, it was kind of just exciting, where it was like, I get to do this thing that's what I want. And
yeah,
there's not really like a wrong way to do it yet, because nobody has done, there's not really anything like this. It's kind of a blank slate for all of us. So I think,
yeah,
especially in those early days, man, you get Manu, you get David Swarup, you get David Kuckerman, and you get all these guys that are like, you know, unique styles. Like Nadi Shana came out, like nobody's done that stuff, and Kirill Osharov, like all these guys, like they, I feel, you know, what they have done, and hopefully what I have done, is like kind of shown like some potential for like, here's what you can also do. So it was, yeah, it was cool in the beginning. It was like trying to make something that was worth listening to and worth pursuing. Like,
yeah,
make something cool. Don't be boring, and make something that's what I like. I was just like, what would I want to hear on this instrument, and then
yeah.
just go do it. Like there wasn't really a rocket science. It's just, I want to do this, so let's practice to do that.
I went to Hangout UK last weekend, and there was an Indian player called Risharaj Kulkarni. Yeah, yeah. So he did a workshop, and he just talked for an hour about music and about life and about handpan. And he said, "I want to hear all of you play, but I don't want to hear you sounding like somebody else or trying to be somebody else or pretending to sound like somebody else. I want to hear you play."
Yeah.
I thought it was a very good reminder that everybody out there should do exactly what you just were alluding to there, Dan. Is everybody's got their own unique sound, haven't they? And you shouldn't really try and compare or be like somebody else. Everybody's got their own style and their own sort of sound to bring out to the world, haven't they?
Yeah. I think, and, like Rishi too, he's one of these guys that's like, his tabla background is like
Yeah,
insane. Like, it's insanely unique, so like the way that guy picks up a handpan is going to be very different than how, like, I come from playing drums in like, indie rock, hardcore music, hip hop for DJ. Like, I played a lot drum set in a lot of different ways. So like, if you give the instrument to him and the same instrument to me, it's going to be a very different thing. So, I think that should be celebrated. It's, and like, I think the really cool thing is like, there's not like a better or worse. Like, it's just,
no,
it's completely different. Like for someone like, even Kirill Osharov, he's like a good buddy of mine. Do you know his playing?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
crazy.
having like, yeah, the crazy,
All the
like
odd
this,
meters and yeah, brilliant.
yeah, man, odd meters, and just like the, what you
Yeah,
learn from the tone deck, like this dexterity in the fingers and all this stuff, like, that should be, it's not like, oh, what's better or worse. It's like, no, it's that's like its own, we all have our own lanes, like this is, it's like the same instrument, but everybody has their own approach to it.
yeah,
So, like in Amy, like, you've had Amy on your show, like the singer songwriter style of things, but on the handpan. And that's, that's so unique to her. But I think there's like a really cool cross section that happens like now, because everybody, like you have like your styles and you have the things that you like, but then you start to see some crossover. So it's like, for me, like, for instance, like I don't really write much, if anything at all, in odd time signatures. But
no,
if I do one or two, it's like, oh, this is like, that's different from what you're doing, but I'm not like making my whole Like I'm not like, oh, Kirill, like I'm gonna follow what you do, or like, you know, if Amy does some like crazy, you know, odd meter stuff, it's not like we're all trying to follow each other. It's like, you know, you could pick and choose little things and be inspired by other people,
Yeah.
but I think at the end of the day, everybody's gonna have their own, you know, their own approach to it, which is pretty cool. You know, it's been really inspiring over the years to like see, you know.
I can tell you like talking about this, and you love handpan, you love the handpan community, Dan.
Yeah.
You meet a lot of them. Is that a reason why you're bringing your podcast back? You told me maybe this is an exclusive, but the Handpan Show podcast is making a return, right?
Yeah, man, and you know, just before that, I mean, yeah, like I love the handpan community. It's like they've shown me nothing but love, and you know, so I try to give, you know, like that's what I try to say in all the workshops. Like, if you guys have questions on like techniques or recording, like if you just call me or write me a message, and I'm in a place to answer, like I'm like more than happy to like talk and to help if
Yeah.
I can after all this time. So yeah, man, it's that's one of the big things. Like when I started the podcast years ago, was like for that, of like when you're at the you know, the festivals or the concerts or the workshops, it's like the players, like we just kind of talk, and it's like entertaining for us and it's fun. But like how cool would that be to like take that so like everyone can
Yeah.
be a part of it too. And yeah, like I was really proud of those episodes, and I think they were really fun. And you know, I was doing it with David Charrier.
Yeah.
Um, so like it was super fun, and we took like, it was supposed to be like 2 weeks for Christmas in like 2023, and then you know, life happens, and you know, now here we are, it's September of 2025, and it's still not back, but it's coming, you know. So it's just, I think yeah, I'm not giving any dates or anything, because I don't want to let everybody down on like albums, videos, and the podcast. Like I want to pick one or two,
Yeah.
but yeah, it will be coming back. Like it's one of the things that I actually miss doing. Like I really miss having that creative kind of
Are you
outlet.
gonna are you gonna do it the same style, or are you gonna try and do something slightly different this time around when you start it
Yeah.
up again?
So it'll be a little different this time. So David is like really hyper focused on a lot of the Master of the Handpan stuff right now, which is like, you know, it's quite a lift. You know, that company is there's a lot going on, a lot of exciting things, and all this stuff. So for the next iteration, it's probably just going to be me
Yeah.
uh, talking to the players and stuff, which is I'm excited for. You know, I love David, but it's also, you know, I mean, you know, you do this podcast, it's like it's not something you could just do for like 10 minutes and put it down
No.
and pick it up again. It's kind of like, you know, to do a whole episode, it's like, you know, a day of preparation, then a couple hours to actually record it. And then I do all the production. So like, you know,
Yeah.
another day to produce it. So it's a big lift, you know, it's a lot to do. And then all the publishing and social media, and it's a
Yeah.
lot, man, but it's something
Yeah.
that I'm quite passionate about. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, it will be back. Dave will probably pop in for some episodes, but I think
Yeah.
for the majority of it, it'll just be me. Um, and yeah, man, I'm excited. Like I'm very excited for it, and
Me too.
yeah,
Me
well,
too. Some
I'm not
people
telling you
have
when it's coming.
okay. Some people have wanting me to do in person interviews as well. So I'm sort of dipping my toe in the water. I did one a couple of weeks ago that didn't go that great. I had a audio failure. I forgot to sort of plug the receiver into the camera properly. We were sort of walking along, and yeah, it was a bit of a disaster from a technical point of view. So when you have to do things in person, there's a lot more elements you've got to think about. So I'm still thinking about that, because this is a controlled environment here.
Yeah.
But I'd like to try and get out of my comfort zone a little bit more and try and do it in person. It must be quite nice.
That's what it's all about, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you just have the idea, like just, you know, if you have the technical know-how, that's like a huge thing. Like if you know how to do it, then just give it a shot, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, we're getting quite close to the end now. You've gone through loads of things with me. I really appreciated your time, Dan. I really, honestly, I really do mean that. I really do mean that. Let's finish with one more question.
Sure.
One question about teaching, and then we'll leave it. Is there one thing that you think beginner handpan players overlook too quickly when they're learning the handpan? Is there one skill, do you think, if they did that a little bit more, they'd be a better player?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say a better player, you know, and that's, you know, it's pretty subjective, but the one thing that I like, so for the first time in, oh man, I think 4 years, I've started taking private students again. So I have like a small, like a like small group of people that all want to learn from me. So, I talk about this maybe too much, but I think it's super important, and it's like body position. It's
Right.
the one thing that I see in the workshops that I like. It's because it's quite boring to talk about for like an extended period of time, but
Yeah.
like, for instance, man, like if you have the instrument in your lap here and your elbows are to your sides, like, this is how we like a pretty comfortable playing position. Like how many people do you see when they play that they're doing this? Like, and their elbows are out, their shoulders are like super tight, and their hands are coming downward this way instead of like in this way. So like these little adjustments, if you don't catch them like in the first couple of months, like, why can't I play fast? Like, watch, this is how fast I go. And it's like your arms are here. It's like
Yeah.
physically it would be like really difficult for you to, go fast, or I think more so than fast would be like, like consistent. It's hard to be consistent when like, everything is kind of up in the air. So for me, I always like, I spend a lot of time like focused on like body position, especially your elbows and your shoulders. Like, you think everything kind of like as a lever. Like if it's messed up here, it's going to be really hard for your fingers to, like, if your shoulder is up this way, your finger is going to be kind of like tight. If your shoulder's too loose and you're coming up on the instrument, this is super uncomfortable. So like when you focus on your positioning, whether it be your elbows, your forearms, your wrists, whatever, that's quite important. So I spend a lot of time on that. Also, like finger strength and dexterity. Like I'm not
Okay.
I'm not like a physical therapist or anything like that, or nor am I a bodybuilder or anything like that. But having like strong forearms and wrists, not for like, you don't need to be like crushing apples or anything, but being able to like move your hand how you want it, whether it's up, like whether your elbow is up or your elbow is down, being able to like move in all these weird ways and not get fatigued. Like if you can't do this for like 20 seconds, like forward and
Yeah.
back without your arm like falling off, like it's not a matter of you like, oh, I have to practice more. Like, yeah, that's probably true, but you could work on your strength and dexterity so that things like that aren't as taxing on your body. um
Okay.
so yeah, man, for I think beginners, it's like, just, it's not something that's like fixed immediately overnight, but it's just kind of like building that into your routine. Like I can't tell you how
Yeah.
many, like, oh, show me like a pattern where, 1 2 3 4 4 3 2 5 6, blah, like, these rolls and whatever. It's like those are all fine and you'll get there. But if your hands aren't really, if your hands and your wrists aren't really ready for it, you're going to have a really hard time doing that stuff. Even if you think like, oh, it's an easy one, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 6. If your wrists are all messed up, getting to six is going to be kind of hard. So yeah, man, I think there's a lot of little things like that,
That's a
that,
good one. Yeah.
yeah. And it's just, I thank you. It's just something that I keep seeing. And it's, again, it's not, there are certain people that play, they like to play really high off the instrument this way. I don't think that's, for like a beginner or like a first touch. I think it's just a little harder to play that way. It's like no shade. If you find that to be efficient and good for your body type or your playing style, that's fine. But yeah, I just think like that's kind of overlooked, because it is kind
Okay.
of like deceptive, right? It's like the instrument's in our lap, the notes don't move. It's not even like a piano where the keys are like way out here. Everything is in our lap, but how we get to the notes is like quite important, I think.
Words of wisdom from a very wise man, for sure. For
I
sure.
don't know about all that, but yeah, just yeah, I
Well,
think
listen.
you see it enough.
Well, listen. I really appreciate you spending this time with me. I hope you have a wonderful time in Japan.
Thank you, man.
Please do share some pictures with us on socials, and yeah, I hope you have a great time over there. And we look forward to sort of. Are you going to be recording any stuff out there? Is people going to record your sets, or
I
are
would
you just gonna,
imagine. I would
yeah?
imagine so.
Hope
I would
so.
love. I would love to say I would have that forethought, but these are things that I am. I think.
Yeah.
I think and like, because I try to do everything myself, but you have to admit your shortcomings. And for
Yeah.
me, like, which is I guess kind of ironic because I do so much in like production and all this stuff, but I
Yeah.
always leave places. I'm like, I didn't take a single photo or video. Like
Me too.
yeah,
Terrible.
man. So
Terrible.
thank God, like we just did Hona and Maya was there as well as Rayo, and they're like pretty good with like, oh, let's take a video of this or take a video of that. And
Yeah.
because I think if it wasn't for them, I would have been like, there would have been a shred of evidence that I was there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I
that's
would
so
try my
relatable.
best. Yeah.
So relatable, dude. So relatable. I don't suppose you still got a photograph of your symbol with the stickers on, have you, or anything like that? No.
You know what's funny, man? Now in my parents' basement, like
Yeah.
where we grew up, there's like it's kind of become like a running joke from all the bands I've played in at different
Yeah.
years of life. Like my mom for the last I can't even tell you how many years. Like, can you take this crap out of my house? Like, can you
Yeah.
get this gone? And I couldn't even tell you who some of these amps belong to. I couldn't tell you some of the
No.
guitars I don't know whose they are. So I know that there's like a little shelf with like old drum stuff, and there's like a little cymbal like stack. And there's
Yeah.
a part of me that thinks it might be in there. Not just thinking
Oh, I
about
hope
this.
so.
Yeah,
Um,
I try to go
Try
home
and
for.
track it down and take a video. See if you
Yeah,
can find it. That would be a
yeah.
lovely thing to put
I
in the
have to go
video.
home tomorrow, actually, to my parents' place to help
Yay.
my dad move a
Yeah.
dresser. So I have to. I'll check it.
Look for the symbol of hope,
That's right. Yeah,
Dan. Well, thank
yeah.
you so much for joining me on Handpan Voices. It's been a pleasure
Dude,
to
thank
talk
you
to
so
you.
much for your time, man. This has been fun.